Aquarius, this is your week ahead astrology forecast from Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries. Born Without Boundaries Tarot is where you can get your week ahead tarot card reading, and I hope you will follow this up with that. Take a break in between. Sometimes it's a mouthful. But this is your astrology forecast. So we're going to go over the major planetary aspects and transits in relationship to how they impact your natal sun. So this is definitely for sun sign Aquariuses, but we're going to dig deep down and get really specific into which sun signs are being affected by what and why. We're going to start really broad with the things, major transits that are impacting everybody, major occurrences that are impacting everybody, and then we're going to whittle that down to specifics for all Aquarians, and then we're going to whittle it down even more specifically to exactly where your natal suns are and what will be impacting them and how. I highly recommend you listen to the entire video because it will all at one point or another pertain to you, and even those details at the end that may not pertain directly to you, especially if you're located, if you have birthdays on the cusps of the decans, you will be experiencing the energy in one form or another. So check out the whole video and feel free to leave your comments below because I love to see how you're experiencing this energy. It's just going to give you guides and tips for the energy that will be impacting you today and maybe even long term, because some of these transits are going to last for a while. So what's impacting everybody? Well, we had a major transit when in the beginning of this week, and that was Mercury went into Taurus on Monday, April 3rd. And why is that so impactful? Well, Mercury is going to go into retrograde on April 21st. But in some ways, when Mercury enters Taurus, it already feels like it slows down because Mercury in Aquarius is like a hot cake. It's like a hot plate, like a hot messages, quick communications, fast, rapid interactions, and sort of boldness in speech. And excitement, I would say. But when you go into Taurus, it's all about traditional value systems, traditional modalities of communication. So like letters, long form communications, pragmatism, thoughtfulness, even respect in terms of how you actually speak to other people. This is going to go a long way. But everything that isn't on the up and up, everything that isn't completely legal, everything that isn't checked and balanced and addable, because Taurus does rule the house of finance, there is a sense of it not making enough sense to be approved of or to have people feel comfortable with it. So we already have sort of a slowing down just by the nature of the way communications change when Mercury is in Taurus. But then we have, starting by the end of this week, and this week, by the way, goes from April 5th through April 11th. And definitely by the 11th, you're going to start feeling the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. So you're not getting your answers when you want them, right? Why does that email not go through? What's going on with not understanding each other? Or like, this is definitely entering the time not to sign any paperwork, get anything started. And unfortunately, especially for those of you who do want to move forward, it's going to be all the way out through May 15th and even the end of May up through the 20th, the 25th, that we're going to be really feeling the effects of the Mercury retrograde on our communications. But there are a lot of things that are happening between now and then to sort of catalyze changes, whether or not Mercury retrograde is happening. And that is, one of them is a new moon eclipse that's coming up. Once again, toward the end of this month on the 21st. What's happening this week? We have Taurus, we have Mercury going into Taurus, where things do change. They slow down a little bit in terms of what's expected of communications. And then at the end of this week, on the 11th of April, Venus is going to transit into Gemini. So we have two interplanet transits that are happening over the course of these 7 days. We also have a full moon, and that full moon is in the zodiac sign of Libra, always in direct opposition to where the sun is, which is in Aries. But this is kind of big because while the sun is opposite this full moon, the sun is conjunct both Chiron and Jupiter. It's sort of sitting right in between them. In fact, on the days of the full moon is April 5th, 6th, depending on where you are on the globe. The sun is in perfect conjunction with Chiron. And the sun-Chiron conjunction is basically asking us, What have we learned, or how have we been inspired? Have we been inspired to have a better sense of self-respect after all the suffering and pain that we've gone through? And how can we integrate that into our life purpose? But the fact that it's there, it's part of that full moon. How do we let go and release any relationships that have not been sincere, or that we have allowed ourselves to get into because we've accepted too much, taken too much, or because the suffering has just gotten so heavy? Don't we really think we kind of deserve better? Like, what have we learned from all this? And being really ready to release all those emotions and accept what's happened and comprehend, how can I inspire myself or grow from this experience? Since the moon is in Libra, it really is playing out. All of those emotional explosions and exorcisms are going to be happening through or because of our intimate partnerships. So that impacts all of us, no matter where we are. But specifically for you guys, it is Aquariuses who are born in the middle of Aquarius season, and we're going to get into that, that are going to feel the effects and impact of that Chiron Sun conjunction and the full moon the strongest, FYI. And those of you who are born at the very, very beginning of Aquarius season, where Pluto is, are the ones who are going to feel the impact most of Venus's transit into Gemini, where she will be trine to Pluto and to your natal suns. So let's get into it, right? Let's go into more specifics for Aquarius. You always got to look at where Saturn and Uranus is. So Aquarius is, you're not going to change a lot, change every day. You have more steady personalities. Unlike Cancerians, whose ruling dignitary legitimately changes modality every 2.5 days, Uranus and Saturn do not change that often. I think Saturn changes almost every 3 years, maybe 2.8 years. It changes zodiac sign, and Uranus, a lot longer. God, I want to say, I don't know it off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But it's over 6 years. So there's a lot there, right? There's a steadfastness and steadiness to your energy, but it's always good to know where your ruling dignitaries are. And yes, you do have two of them. You have a modern ruler, which is Uranus, but before then, and astrology was invented way before we discovered Uranus, is Saturn. Saturn was traditionally your ruler. So where is Saturn now? Saturn is actually in a really nice place, kind of more peaceful and tranquil than it's been in a while. Saturn is in Pisces. It's at 3 degrees Pisces, and it's trine to Mars, trine to the south node, and sextile to the north node. And you're going to get another week of that supportive peace in terms of where am I headed, being encouraged to move forward because you're comfortable and you realize you have accomplished all that you can accomplish through your talents and skills and what you've achieved up to date. And then we have Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus, has been for a while. It is starting to move further along into Taurus, but it's still mid-Taurus. Change and surprise, and honestly, it's not really horrible impacts this week, major things happening to Uranus, but the fact that we have Mercury in Taurus now heading toward Uranus means that there could be some surprise switchos and changeos, especially when it comes to modern day communications or traditional communications systems. This sense of no more traditional communication systems, no more handwritten shit. People are like not going to be accepting even currency. There are going to be a lot more places that are going to change, like they're not going to accept cash anymore, right? Or maybe more people are going to start to accept cryptocurrencies, because Taurus is the house of finance. There's also a sense of more people accepting online documents or signatures online instead of having to have a paper copy of it. So traditional communication systems, those will be brought to light as Mercury starts to transit Uranus over the next week and a half. Let's get into specifics, shall we? So Aquarius is 30 degrees. 30 degrees of the 360-degree zodiac wheel, broken up into 12, of which Aquarius is one. That means Aquarius covers 30 degrees on that wheel. Those 30 degrees are broken up into 3 sections called decans, which are groups of 10 degrees. So if you are born between 0 and 9 degrees Aquarius, your sun, if your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Aquarius, you are Aquarius 1 because you're born, or your natal sun is in decan 1. If your natal sun is born between 10 and 19 degrees Aquarius, or if your natal sun sits or falls on the day that you were born between 10 and 19 degrees, you are Aquarius 2. And if your natal sun falls between 20 and 29 degrees Aquarius, you are decan 3 or Aquarius 3s. And if you are on the cusps, I'll try to boil it down to specific dates when I can. The dates do change because the Aquarius season doesn't start and end on the same day every year. So the dates are a little bit more toggle, but if you go and get your natal chart and find out exactly which degree your natal sun sits on, it'll be a lot more specific. And you can get those for free off the internet. You'll just need your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace, all of which are on your birth certificate. Call up mom or go dig through the archives, if you know what I mean. So Aquarius 1, Pluto is sitting on, it's conjunct to your natal suns, and that's huge. This means that you are experiencing tremendous amounts of change, and I know that you guys have felt it because it was sitting at the final degree of Capricorn for quite some time. So you have been feeling it. It's been conjunct your sun for a while, but it's now in Aquarius. It's in your home. It's more personal, and it's hitting on things that you care about every day. Social value systems, social structure, justice, equality in society, fairness, friendship, all of those kind of things, and even technology, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus rules technology, like uber tech, like genius tech, new tech. So there is a lot of changes that are coming, and they're coming through these devices. They're coming in these ways. And Pluto and your natal suns are also squared to the nodes, which means there is an overhaul of human society, of humanity in general, us kind of reaching our maturity point and having to leave our childhood behind and move toward our north node, which is it's gonna challenge us more, but we're gonna change. It's time to grow up. It's gonna time to change. And I would not be surprised if all of these kind of themes are starting to quake and shake your world, and will for the next few years. We also have, you guys are also, like I said, by the end of this week, going to be trine to Venus. And in the very, very end of this week, April 11th, 12th, it will be the earliest Aquariuses. So those of you that have your birthday on Capricorn Aquarius line, just on the cusp. So first of all of Aquarius ones, you're pretty much January Aquariuses, and definitely Aquarius ones, you'd be like January 22nd, 23rd, 24th, beginning of Aquarius season. It's you guys whose natal sun is conjunct Pluto, and it's conjunct Pluto trine to Venus. So all these changes that are going to start to happen are actually going to help harmonize right now, send a sense of harmony through your finances, value systems, what turns you on, what you love, what you desire, who you're desired by. It will start to change people's way of looking at you and valuing you, and that will actually start to work in your favor. So as Venus is with you at the very end of this week and then into the following week, know that there is a harmony and a balancing that's going to come to your checkbook and to your romantic proclivities. FYI. And since Venus is in Gemini, it will come through friendship, through conversation, and through education. We have your natal sun sextile to Neptune, but only if you're at the very, very beginning. Very, very beginning, like maybe the first day of Aquarius season. You guys are still sextile to Neptune, so creative energy. Sun sextile Neptune is all about trusting yourself and having the courage to trust your faith and trust these creative inclinations that are coming seemingly from nowhere. We also have your natal sun square to Mercury. All of you throughout the week, since Mercury moves fast through Taurus, it will hit all of your natal suns throughout this week. What is Mercury square? It's almost like a mini Mercury retrograde. Just this sense of like hiccups when it comes to communications not going through, people misinterpreting you, misunderstanding you. Think the car not starting. Think like the effects or impacts are like mini Mercury retrograde. So that could happen to you this week, FYI. And then we also have you square to the North Node, which is not moving quickly. That's been there a while. And that's just having difficulty moving forward. This sense of maybe I'm not ready or I'm not certain of where I want to go or where I want to head to, but you're really going to be feeling the traction of it all, and the traction of the South Node pulling you back while the North Node is pulling you forward, and feeling like you're being pulled in two. By the summer, because the nodes are going to change. The nodes are changing, I believe, in July. So it's not going to impact you forever, but for the next 2 months, expect that push and pull between who you were and where you came from and where you're headed. So then we go into so I did write this down. By Saturday, you'll start to, now it's on April 11th, that the very end of this week, that Venus goes into Gemini. But your natal suns, those of you who are born at the very beginning of Aquarius season, like those 22nd, 23rd people, January 22nd, 23rd, 24th people, you'll start to feel that trine to Venus as early as Saturday. So harmony with those value systems, with maybe even feeling more romantic or feeling more optimistic, since Venus does have that energy, to the point where you might want to spend a little bit more or just feel comfortable doing so. That's actually really nice energy to balance you out. Though, if you have this strain with Mercury, you might misinterpret costs. And if you have the strain with the North Node, you may be using that energy, especially finances or romance, to placate and calm yourself and sort of more use it as a balm of the discomfort. So FYI, just note that, because when something's going good, it's easy to overuse it to overcompensate for what's causing tension in our lives. We have Aquarius 2s. Now, Aquarius 2s, it's you guys that are going to be really feeling this full moon, because it's you guys that are sextile to the sun and trine the full moon. So all this tension and all this release is actually going to work in your favor, especially for your relationships. Just a letting go and a sense of like just shedding the old skin and letting yourself start over again when it comes to Libra partnership, when it comes to the sun, which is just confidence and how you feel about who you are. Your natal suns are sextile to the sun, conjunct Chiron, sextile to the sun and Chiron, even when the sun starts to pull away from Chiron through the week. But during this full moon, the sun is in almost perfect conjunction with Chiron, and you guys are sextile to that. So there's a sense of really, really learning and understanding why I went through all I went through and getting opportunities from it. Seeing that all the suffering and all the struggle created courage and created purpose in you that is opening doors for you. So this is a wonderful, wonderful energy to support you. And that full moon, whatever tension has been pent up in your relationship, you're trying to that. So your natal moon is trying to that. So you're going to be able to let it go and have it liberate you. And really, whatever is released, especially within your partnerships, is going to be helpful. It's going to help to tranquilize the situation and make things more peaceful. We have a square to Uranus, which has been going on for quite some time, which is surprises that are going to come up, bumps in the road, and it's going to be bumpy. Uranus wants to surprise you. Maybe even surprise changes that are coming up within these traditional financial systems, especially causing irritation or hiccups in your plans that you're always being challenged by, but that you can learn a lot from. And then we have And that's it. That's it. So actually kind of very productive energy for you, and can really help to pacify or heal. Trines are very healing energy, so make you comfortable with what you have to release and let go when it comes to relationship, pent up relationship emotions. We also have, okay, so then we have the third decan. So Aquarius 3s. Your natal suns are conjunct to Saturn if you guys are at the very, very end of Aquarius. So that would be Aquarius Pisces cusp. It's you guys that are going to be, that are still conjunct to Saturn. Now that's pulling away from most of you. So most of you in the third decan are not even conjunct to Saturn anymore. It's only those of you born on the Pisces Aquarius cusp. And Saturn is still at 3 degrees Pisces, so it is conjunct your natal suns. This gives you a sense of authority and a sense of maturity and a sense of certainty and commitment, and taking things seriously. So if you're taking things more seriously than you usually do, you'll know why. It's because Saturn is conjunct your natal suns. And this could be wonderful energy. It could also be energy that kind of traps you and makes you stubborn, but generally speaking, it is good for hard work. And that's going to be there for a while. That's long term. That's not just this week. This week, you will begin your natal suns, and those of you, these once again are those of you born at the very very end of Aquarius season. No, stop. These are those of you who are born, at the very beginning of the third decan. So that would be, January 13th, 14th, maybe 15th people. Those of you born then are going to experience a sextile to Jupiter. And Jupiter moves slowly, so by the end of this week, it'll still be sextile. Sextile to Jupiter, when your natal sun is sextile to Jupiter, this is it's fair to say that is one of the luckiest and most fortunate opportunity driven times. So this is a wonderful time of the year. Jupiter is still in Aries, so it could be, when it comes to physical things or things with your body, opportunity to take action and transform yourself physically. But it could just be that you have an extreme amount of energy and opportunities are opening up, especially when it comes to something that you can really put your whole self into. So this is a very fortunate sextile that will last for the next week and a half, and really bless you all over the next week and a half. You will unfortunately experience, at least while Venus is in the very beginning of Gemini, you will experience a square to Venus. But this is only those of you born at the very end or the Pisces Aquarius cusp, square to Venus. So there is tension in your relationships, tension in how you feel about yourself, how beautiful you feel. This is not a good time to change your hairstyle or to change anything that would have a permanent impact on it, on the way that it looks. It's just a little bit of tension that you'll start to feel, and you'll feel for a couple of days, especially toward the end of this week, especially toward the end of this week and into the beginning of next week. By the end of next week, this should have cleared you because Venus moves pretty quickly. Those of you who are born on the Aquarius Pisces cusp. Those of you who are born a little bit deeper, no, then it should definitely pass you guys by. So I wouldn't worry so much about that after that point. But just an FYI, breathe. It's a square that just face the challenge, look at the challenge, accept it, and see what you can learn about yourself or about, whoever it's impacting, your finances, your value systems, the way that you look. If you're feeling disruptive, if you're feeling like don't have as much confidence in those areas as you used to, it's because of this square. And maybe it's just exposing what needs to be changed, and you absolutely can change it and actually make it stronger or make it better if you just have a little bit of patience and wait throughout the end of this week and the beginning of next week. FYI. I love you guys so much, and I do hope that you will stop by and watch the Aquarius week ahead tarot card reading that I give on Born Without Boundaries Tarot. Please remember to like this video, share it on your social media profiles if you really love it, and subscribe to the channel so that you will then get notified when I upload your favorite content. There's going to be a new Aquarius video every single week. And if you are subscribed, you can participate in the live astrology chats that I have every Monday and Friday on this channel. So I hope to hear your voice there. I hope to see you there, and I will see you guys in the videos. Bye.